So, Dean, what are we talking about today?
We're going to talk about 5 post-pandemic retirement ideas for 2023.
But before we get to that weighty topic, we're Tina and Norm. We talk all things retirement, travel, lifestyle, and post-pandemic ideas.
Yeah, very exciting.
It really is. So, what's the first one, Tina?
It's got to be bad pandemic habits that we probably all got into.
And really, for us, what happened in the early part of the pandemic was our province closed down cinemas, restaurants, shopping malls, and there was basically nothing to do. Our national government put a travel advisory saying that Canadians should not travel abroad.
Mhm.
So, what else was there to do, Tain?
You got to drink, Norm.
Got to go to the liquor
You got
store.
to go to the liquor store. But I guess we were going there a little too often, weren't we?
It kind of just crept up on
Yeah,
us,
it did.
and to be honest with you, we ended up drinking too much.
We did.
Not that it caused a problem, but we are health conscious, and
Yeah.
we realized it wasn't doing us any good. So we've actually given up drinking, haven't we, Tin?
We have. And in actual fact, Norm, we have gone 50 days without drinking. So I think we kind of feel very proud of ourselves, don't we?
We do, and we don't have the shakes anymore.
And we're sleeping better, and life seems to be really good.
Generally, our health is seemingly better. Certainly, my skin. I have some psoriasis. I haven't had any flare-ups since we got about 3 weeks into no drinking. So lots of good things are happening there. So we have another idea for a post-pandemic retirement idea in 2023. So that's number 2.
Which has to be wake up your social soul.
Get back to traveling.
Oh, yes, can't wait.
It really is good for your soul.
It is.
It's good for your personality. When you travel, you use a lot of senses that you don't on a normal basis. There's curiosity, there's excitement, there's a sense of adventure, there's discovery.
Yes, there is. And one thing that we've found too is that it makes you have more to say. We just had lunch with a couple of friends, and it was great because they could relate with their stories. They'd just been on some cruises, and we could relate on our trip to Frankenmuth. So it made us all very interesting, didn't it? Because we all actually had something to talk about.
Gives us all a
Yeah.
great conversation. You become more interesting if you have something to say. And travel is an easy way of having something to say.
It
And
is.
it's also stimulating in many, many ways and gets you out of your daily routine, daily grind, gets you out of your home, possibly to a new country, and experience new things. So, yeah, we had a great conversation with our friends who had been on a Alaska cruise for
Yeah.
2 weeks. We'd been to Frankenmuth for a week, and we are off to Alabama.
Oh, very exciting, isn't it? We've only got a couple of weeks to go.
And we've never been to Alabama.
No.
We've never been in that state at all. So there's going to be lots of things to look at and take photographs of. You know, I like to take photographs. So we'll be doing some videos from Alabama on this channel. So stay tuned for that. So number 3, Tane, what have we got for that?
I think this has to be being aware of what's happening in the stock market.
Well, there's been a big stock market crash. Some of the markets, some of the stocks are down 20, 30%. So it's a great opportunity to go and buy some really good companies at bargain basement prices. And we have the old adage, don't we, Teen? Buy low, sell high.
Absolutely.
So while you might be thinking there's still opportunities for the stock market to fall, who knows? We don't have a crystal ball. We don't know the answers to that. We would remind you that we are not financial advisors, so don't take our word for it. But we're certainly keeping an eye on a list of stocks that we would be interested in buying. And so it's a perfect opportunity. And if we miss the low, doesn't matter. In 5 years' time, they'll be back. They'll
Yeah.
be at record levels, and we'll be making good money. So look at some good quality stocks, companies who have got a solid track record, and their stock price is low, no fault of their own. It's world economics because of the pandemic.
So, what's number 4, Norm?
Glad you asked, Jane. You know we all love doing our tax returns, don't you? That's just one of the high points of the year. Well, how about getting your last couple of years, maybe 5 years? In Canada, we can go back 7 years. How about having somebody review your recent tax returns, especially if you do them yourself, to see if you've missed anything or whether there's additional monies you can get back from it. We've just come across services starting. There's one in Toronto where they are willing to review your tax return, and they'll do it for free. And if they feel as though they can get you some more refund, then your fee comes out of that. So it's a tantalizing thing. Do you know all the deductions? And maybe having a professional review them, Tim.
I think it's a wonderful idea. I think it's absolutely a great idea because a lot of people just might miss things, especially if they do their taxes themselves.
We use
Yeah.
the one of the softwares that are available, so we don't pay a professional to do it, and they have a tax questionnaire that you go through. But we're so we normally leave our tax return a month before the cutoff.
Yeah.
So we're kind of rushing, and the motivation is just to get it done.
Get it done and get it out the way, eh,
Which
Norm?
probably isn't the best motive. So you really want to
Yeah.
take your time with your tax returns. We don't. So I'm sure there are items that we have missed. And
Yeah.
so it's something that we're going to look at, of have the last couple of years of our tax return reviewed professionally and see if we can get some additional refund out of the taxman. So, Tin, I think one of the important things coming out of the pandemic, especially in Canada, our doctors, our general practitioners, they didn't want to see patients. So they started doing this teleconferencing or calling you up on the phone. So they wouldn't examine you. And it was, we didn't like it at all,
No.
especially if you had something wrong that needed an examination, they weren't going to do it. So we've gone a couple of years without having in-person meetings with our general practitioner doctor. So it's about time that maybe we should start thinking about going and getting a medical. What do you think,
I
Tim?
think it's a great idea, Norm. And, you know, going along with getting a medical too is looking at all the different sort of preventative things that you can do to help with your health.
Yeah.
Sort of maybe getting back to having things like mammograms or tests for cancer and things like that.
And there's the there's procedures we should be having either on an annual or biannual basis. Colonoscopy. And then all those vaccines that we keep nagging you to go get. So we recently had our shingles vaccines. We had both of the shots. It's a 2-shot thing. We have had Twinrix in the past to protect us while we're traveling against hepatitis. We also got the pneumonia shot.
Yeah, and another one too, Norm, is particularly for anybody who's gardening, is to the tetanus shot.
Yeah.
You know, this is something that's widely overlooked and people just forget about it. But if you're gardening or touching rusty nails or anything like that, that's another good one to get.
Or if you come from a region where they used to work the land with horses.
That's true.
I know where we lived in Norfolk, in England. Our GP was very keen that we would have tetanus and get the boosters as well, because it was a region that was widely used by horses, and for whatever reason, they felt that tetanus was important to have. So that's a good point, Teen. If you're gardening, getting your hands dirty in the soil, perhaps go get a tetanus booster.
And another thing too, Norm, is something a little close to my heart, is that I've just recently, probably since turning 65, have started to get sort of arthritis, I think, in my fingers, and they've started to swell up a little bit.
Yeah.
So I heard about you can get copper bracelets. So I've actually just bought a copper magnetic bracelet.
Yeah, it looks very pretty as well.
It's very pretty and it's supposed to really help. So I'm giving it a try. It only arrived yesterday, so it's the first day. So I'm hoping that it might help relieve some of the pain.
And if you're interested in that, we'll post a link to the Amazon website where we got that for Tina. And who knows? It was worth a try. It's cheap.
Yes.
It's cheap enough that if it works or gives a little bit of relief to Tina, then it's well worth it.
It is.
So those are our 5 post-pandemic retirement ideas. We hope that it might just spark an idea in your mind for you to go and do something, whether it's buying some stocks or getting yourself a medical. According to everything that we read, we're coming out of the pandemic. We no longer hear about it in the news media.
No.
So we're getting ready to enter living life again. But in the meantime, if you are going to be traveling in this post-pandemic world, do take your face masks with you, social distance, and wash your hands on a fairly regular basis. Tina also is very good at having tiny little bottles of hand sanitizer in her purse.
Yeah, and we keep those in the car too, don't we? And every time we get back into the car, we use the hand sanitizer. And it's just being aware of these little things to help keep you healthy.
And we would also like to thank all the people that have been giving us thanks with a small monetary donation.
Yes, thank you.
You're very, very kind. And it does motivate us to want to do more of these videos, because it just makes us feel as though we are on the right lines. Just wanted to say that we used that money towards getting a new lens for our camera, because our camera punches in on 4K, so it's not quite as wide angle. So we just bought a Canon 35mm wide angle lens 1.8, and that's what we're using to make this video. So we're investing those money in trying to make better videos for you. So thank you to all who have donated a small thanks amount of money to us.
Great, isn't it?
So we hope everybody's staying safe
and keeping well.
And until the next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.